There's something you do around toxic people that keeps them coming back, and you have no idea you're doing it. It's not obvious, and it's not something anyone would ever call out, but they notice it immediately, and it's basically a green light for them to keep targeting you. The frustrating part is, once you see what it is, you'll wish someone told you this years ago. So the first thing you need to understand is that toxic people don't just go after everyone. And this is important because once you get this, everything else makes sense. They watch first. They throw out little tests to see how you react, maybe a weird comment, maybe a small boundary push, and based on what you do, they decide if you're worth their time. What they're looking for is someone who reacts, who gets thrown off, and someone who cares enough to explain themselves or get emotional or try to fix things. That's what keeps them coming back. So when you wonder why they keep bothering you when they leave other people alone, it's usually because somewhere along the way, you showed them that their opinion of you actually matters, and that gave them something to work with. Actions that makes them lose interest. First, you stop giving explanations. This is probably the biggest one because most of us do it without thinking. Someone questions your decision, and your first instinct is to explain why you made it. And then you explain some more because they still look unconvinced. And before you know it, you're 5 minutes deep defending something that didn't need defending in the first place. But here's the thing. Every time you explain yourself, you're basically handing them the steering wheel because now they get to decide if your reason is good enough, which it never will be. So when you just say no, or I'm not doing that, and you leave it there without continuous explanations, they don't know what to do with that because there's nothing to pick apart, and that alone throws them off more than any argument ever could. Second, you stop letting them see the impact. When someone upsets you, there's this part of you that kind of wants them to know they upset you. Not in a confrontational way, but you might go quiet, or your face changes, or you give off that energy of something's wrong and it's because of you. And for most people, that would be fine. But for toxic people, that's exactly what they wanted, because now they know they still affect you. And as long as they affect you, they have access to you. But when you feel what you feel on your own time, and you don't give them the satisfaction of watching, it confuses them, and they start to wonder if they're losing their grip, which they are. Third, your boundaries actually mean something. Here's the thing about boundaries that nobody talks about. It's not about what you say, it's about what you do after you say it. Because if you've told someone you're done and then you came back, or you said you needed space and then you replied to their message anyway, or you warned them not to do something again and they did it and nothing happened, they took notes. They know exactly how far they can push before you fold, and they'll keep pushing to that exact line every single time. But the moment you actually follow through on something, even once, the whole game changes because now they don't know where the line is anymore, and that uncertainty makes you way less fun to mess with. Fourth, you start living like they don't exist. When your mood depends on how they treated you, and your brain keeps replaying stuff they said, and you're constantly wondering what they're thinking about you, you're basically revolving around them, even when they're not there. And they can feel that. They know when someone's still mentally wrapped up in them, and it keeps them interested. But when you start filling your life with things that have nothing to do with them, not just distracting yourself, but you naturally stop being so available and you stop caring as much, and they can feel that shift too. That kind of genuine, I've moved on energy is the one thing they can't fight because there's nothing to grab onto anymore. The reason they picked you probably isn't because you're easy to manipulate, but it's because you're the type of person who gives others the benefit of the doubt, and you try to see the good in people even when they keep showing you otherwise, and you'd rather overgive than risk being unfair. That's a good thing in most situations, but with certain people, it becomes the exact thing they use against you. So this isn't about becoming mean or shutting everyone out. It's about accepting that not everybody deserves access to the version of you that cares deeply, and that being selective with your kindness isn't cruel, it's necessary. If this explains something you've been feeling but couldn't put into words, subscribe to Clever Cues.